Do you love yourself? Probably not enough. Otherwise, you would not be here watching this video, right? I tell you, when I first time heard that I need to love myself more, I thought I'm gonna punch that person. But let's just rewind now and I tell you why in our society loving yourself is a huge deal. Because for some reason, and that's what I was thinking, that I'm supposed to be selfish. Loving yourself is selfish. Does mean to be need to be mean to the people? What does that mean? And let's just go back and I tell you why I felt like I'm gonna punch that person. You see, I grew up in an environment where I was not loved and appreciated for the way I was, just to being me. And when I heard I need to love myself more, I took this as a criticism. And then it triggered me more because I was already coming with the wound from my childhood that I'm not good enough. And when somebody says that they need to do something, that felt worse because it was pointing at me that I'm not enough. The sad part about this is because I grew up in the childhood trauma and not loved and appreciated the way I needed to, and physical and mental and emotional abuse, I had no idea what love means. To me, love was equal pain. Like, parents love me. So when they hurted me, that's how they express the love. So when I need to be loving myself more, does mean I need to hurt myself more? And listen to your inner critic and that little voice inside your head that tells you how good or how bad you are, because that's how you love yourself. And you learn this from your parents or from your caregivers that, you grew up in that environment. So if you can relate, if you're wondering, how can I love myself? And you immediately feel guilty of giving yourself time and energy, this video is for you because there are plenty of ways how you can help yourself to love yourself and replenish yourself without, those triggers that tell you that you're doing something wrong. Okay, now we already addressed why someone may have difficulty of loving themselves. So let's just dive in. Okay, so number one thing that you need to learn is boundaries. Saying no without over explaining. You probably already tried multiple times to have boundaries, and I have other videos about how to set boundaries. But how about without over explaining it? And when I started implementing boundaries with people that I know or don't know, it was very difficult because I will, tell them, somebody invite me to go somewhere and I really cannot attend the event. And I tell them, I am so sorry, I really cannot come. And then I start over explaining. I say, I need to go to my mother's house, and I promised her because 2 weeks ago we were going, and she needs to return this thing, and she bought that dress for the party that we're going, but then we're probably not going to go because there's a people don't care. People don't care. When you start over explaining yourself, it comes across as you feeling guilty, but also you're not really sure about the whole thing. It's kind of like you hiding something. The more you explain yourself, the more people start questioning why you keep on talking and why you're trying to brush things off. Is there something that you don't know about? Basically, what happens is with you over explaining, triggers their insecurities. So, yeah, stop doing that. When you say no, you just say no. And you can start with simple no's. You can say, I don't know now, but I tell you later. And then you message them later and say, you know what, I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Or you can say, especially if you coupled up, you can say, I'm going to ask my other half and then I let you know. Simple, easy way to get out of the situation without hurting their feelings. And you definitely should not be feeling guilty about that because, well, you kind of checked maybe with another person and you really put yourself first and you cannot come. So, and stop overanalyzing. And when you say no, don't feel guilty. And the beauty of this about that is that when you will learn to say no, you will start trusting yourself more. And you will see that just because you said no, nobody died. Hopefully nobody died. Okay, here's another thing that I see a lot of times with my clients, and I'm a stress management coach, that overachievers and people pleasers have difficulty of resting. So that's what it means. You need to take a break. You need to rest when your body needs to rest. And I'm not talking about you need to have your 8 hours sleep. I mean, show me that person who can have 8 hours of sleep. Well, okay, well, I can do this 8 hours of sleep sometimes on the weekend. But really, a lot of us, we don't have time for this. We have other people that we need to take care of. But I'm talking about rest when you're tired. Maybe taking a nap. Maybe simply doing nothing. When was the last time that you did nothing? Just sit down and did absolutely nothing. And I remember a few weeks ago, I was interviewed for this podcast, and definitely there will be a link below where we can watch the whole episode. I've been asked, how do I reward myself? My answer was, I do nothing. Because I am so driven. I used to be more driven because, yeah, I was always feeling like I need to be more and running towards horizon like a lot of my clients, because we feel like we need to constantly produce and be needed, because if I'm not needed, hence I'm discarded from the group and then I'm going to die. Yes, I know this is all in our brain and in survival mode. Do nothing. Now, when I told you do nothing, did you start telling yourself how is that's not going to work? It's like, oh yeah, it's easy for you to say do nothing. I don't have time for this. No, you don't have time for this. When I started working with my clients, they usually tell me, can you give me one tip, one simple thing that I can do that doesn't take so much time and it will be, I can see impact. And I tell them, okay, and now I'm telling you, put an alarm on your phone that rings every hour. And if you have possibility, meaning you're not driving or operating heavy machinery, stop whatever you're doing and take a break. Do nothing for 1 minute. Can you do that? Now, what you just answered me in your head, can you do that? Because you see, if you cannot do this and you start telling me or yourself, oh no, this is so stupid, 1 minute, it's not going to change my life, 1 minute. You will, because you will give yourself a break. You see, a lot of times when I start presentations, I introduce myself and I tell everybody to raise a hand. And I keep talking. And I tell them that I will tell them when to put their hand down. But, a minute passes by and I already see people like getting tired, like they're putting their hands down and they're like, oh my gosh, how long am I going to hold this? That is the stress. And then I tell them, okay, now you can put it down. And then you can raise your hand and now put it down. Raise your hand, put it down. What I'm trying to say, if you give yourself a break, at least once an hour, 1 minute, can you do 1 minute? You will give yourself that break that you can go on for longer times. You will be less burnt out. So how about you just give yourself this 1 minute? Okay, fine, let's give yourself 1 minute every 2 hours. That is giving yourself a break. You should not feel guilty of doing that. And there are people that I coached in the medical field, and they're like, are you kidding me? I cannot just stand in a corridor. I mean, that's immediately. I get it. We have some supervisors or coworkers who keep on watching us every step we move, every step we make. You know what? There is this place called restrooms. I bet nobody will bother you there, okay? Just close your eyes and do nothing. If you happens to be doing that kind of job that you have to be on your feet a lot, then sit down. If you are standing up, if you're sitting down, you can stand up and walk if you don't want to close your eyes and do nothing. But you have to have that break. And you need to really tell yourself that you have to schedule yourself this and put an alarm so you always remember this. What happens is when you start implementing something in your life that helps you with your health, you're not abandoning yourself. And I will be talking a little bit more about other things that you can do to help you love yourself and feel better. But the moment you start implementing those things, you show yourself that you're not abandoning your own needs. And that's extremely important, especially if you grew up in an environment where your needs were not really meant to be listened to. When they were telling you shut up and sit down, that means you are abandoning yourself as well. You learned how to behave with yourself from the environment that was behaving with you. All right? So give yourself a break. Okay, the third way how you should be elevating your self esteem and loving yourself without feeling guilty, definitely, is counting your wins, celebrating yourself. When was the last time that you did something good and then you told yourself, oh yeah, I did an awesome job, and you give yourself a treat? When was that? I know, long time ago, right? If you feel guilty of giving yourself credit, that's mean you've been groomed from the early age to minimize yourself to the point where you don't really matter. Maybe you grew up in an environment where you were telling you specifically that you don't matter. Maybe you had some siblings that they mattered more. Maybe you were talented and you did something that made other people upset because, well, now you're getting better grades and they barely making it. And you've been punished for showing off. Really take time, and I know it will take courage, to remember how much of a celebration in your family you experienced towards yourself when you were growing up. Because that means this is how you are celebrating yourself. It's very important, especially if you're a people pleaser and you're watching this video still about self-love, you're definitely not celebrating yourself. So make a whole list of your achievements, small and big, even getting driver license, learning how to, cross the street. More you will write about those things, the better it is. How did it make you feel right now? Did that trigger something in you? Did you immediately felt, oh no, I don't have any accomplishments? Yes, that's really coming from the childhood that you've been told to shut up and sit down and be small. This is not the time for you to be small. This is time for you to appreciate and love yourself. So write all of those things, and then look at that list and ask yourself, if that will be your friend or somebody else that you don't know, and you will read that list, would you be proud of that person? Probably you would. Probably you'll say, oh my gosh, they've been through some things in their life and they survived. I'm assuming you're alive because you're watching this video, right? Give yourself credit. And then give yourself a treat for all of those amazing things that you already accomplished. Even going to work, taking care of your family, even not going to work, taking care of your family, or taking care of yourself. How about just taking care of yourself and still surviving in today's environment? You should be giving yourself a credit for that. The more credits you'll give to yourself, the more you will give yourself validation that maybe you're not getting from other people around, or you've been groomed not even ask for validation. Well, we're changing this now, so start celebrating yourself. Now, number 4, talk to yourself as a best friend. Yes, I already mentioned that inner critic that keeps on telling you how bad you are, how not enough you are, how a loser you are, all of this. Just empathy. Have empathy towards yourself. Start observing how many times during the day you judge yourself. Yes, you judge yourself so many times. You put something on, you put some clothes on, you may be looking in the mirror and you're already judging yourself. You may be driving and you're already judging yourself. Oh, you're not going fast enough. You go, oh, you're going to be late on this. There's so much judgment going on towards other people, but especially towards yourself. Pay attention how you talk to yourself. With your friend will be still in touch with you, and your friend, if you will be talking to them like that? Probably not. So it all starts from acknowledging, paying attention, and then talking calmer and with more empathy. And have empathy towards yourself, specifically when you catch yourself that you're talking bad, okay? When you're very hard on yourself. Then you need to forgive yourself for being hard on yourself. But that will be this muscle that you will just have to continuously doing until one day you will be less and less criticizing yourself and judging, and you will see that your self-esteem definitely will be higher. And this is how you honor yourself. You're not abandoning yourself, and that's very important, especially for self-love. Number 5, ask for help without feeling guilty. I know you probably rolled your eyes at me now. So here's the deal. If you grew up in an environment where you don't feel that you are someone worthy of love and appreciation and just being validated for who you are, and you have to be always productive, you will think that if you will ask for help, you'll be discarded and hence you die. You'll be excluded from the group. I know it's very sad. I see a lot of this with overachievers and with people pleasers because we've been groomed from early age not to pay attention to ourselves, and naturally we will not be celebrating ourselves, and we will not be asking anyone for help because if we cannot do it, then they don't need us. More than this, if you grew up in a dysfunctional family or even with an addict in the family, like for example, my dad was alcoholic, I learned from a very early age that I have to take care of myself. I have to parent myself. I mean, of course, mom was taking care of everything else, but I knew that there was no dad that they can, rely on, and there was a lot of violence going on. So I learned to be an adult and take care of myself from a very early age, especially emotionally, because I was like, okay, well, there's nobody else there. So that is what's happening. You will be uncomfortable asking someone else for help, and you maybe will be apologizing so much if you really realize that you cannot do something. You may be over apologizing for bothering people. So think about it. Are you have difficulty of asking other people for help? Did you know that when you ask other person for help, you increase their dopamine? Because we all want to be needed. And if you say now, oh, I don't think about this. Okay, when was the last time when someone asked you for help? How did it make you feel? Needed. That made you feel good. You see? So if you do not ask yourself for help, you're not just robbing yourself, but you're robbing other person. Many times we need help, and that's why we are herd animals. We need other people in our lives, but they also need us. So think about it. How good are you with asking for help? And asking for help is delegating to your other family members, your coworkers, hiring people. There's a whole video about just delegation. So you go and check it out with really good tips how you can approach this. But think about that. Do you ask for help? And if not, start asking for help now. Okay, number 6, do something that you love to do and makes you happy. I know. Many times I hear from my clients, well, what I like to do is to go to Las Vegas and spend millions of dollars. So I would like to go on a trip to Europe for 6 months. There's a lot of things that will make me happy. I know, but there are a lot of things that we can do every single day, even if it's a small thing, without feeling guilty, totally giving it to ourselves, that will make a huge difference in our energy levels and in our stress levels. And yes, it will honor our needs and make us happy. We will not abandon our own needs and will not abandon ourselves. That's very, very important. So what is that you like to do every single day? Is there something that maybe you like to read a book? Maybe you like to, I don't know. Yes, I know there will be like, well, you can eat a muffin, but I don't know, don't eat too many muffins, right? But there's something that makes your heart sing, okay? We all have it. And if you're struggling with this and you're like, I don't even know what I like because I don't even have time for this. I hear this a lot when with those who grew up in the environment where they've been constantly told what to do, and you will never been given a chance to even pick something that you like to do. And if you in that position that you're like, I have no idea what I like, I don't even remember what it feels like to give myself 5 minutes break, maybe this is what you need to do. Start giving yourself a break. And even more, the whole video is a whole list of things that you can do for yourself to make you feel good. Start doing one by one, and we already have 15 items. Okay, so this one is one of them. So we have 14 items that you can try. That covers 2 weeks. Find out what makes your heart sing and do even 1 minute, okay? Maybe 1 minute, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes. But you have to give yourself permission to do something small every single day. Because yes, you will honor your needs. And then you will show to yourself that you can trust yourself. You can be there for yourself. It looks like it's such a simple thing to do, but it covers so many layers that it's helping you so much that you have no idea. But you really need to do that, because just because you bought the cookbook, it doesn't mean that the dinner will appear on the dinner table, right? Right? I know. So, number 7, let go of relationships that drain you. Oh, yeah. I know. For those people pleasers, you immediately got scared, right? So the way it works this: you make a list of things, make a list of people that you spend the majority of time with, and then you identify. You say letter A for somebody who's super good friend, right? You have this balance of equal give and take, and you support each other and you love each other. This is great, and it's a friend that you rely on, and great. B is that yeah, they're good, but they're not my one thing. C, identify specifically those that you don't feel good with them. When you're around them, they drain you, they're not supporting you. They're those kind of people that you don't want to ever see them again, but for some reason you still see them. Like, oh, well, she's my friend from my middle school, so we still can keep in touch. Or that's my sister that I always complaining, but I feel responsible for her. That's why I'm keep on seeing her every single week, even if she's talking about the same guy that she's dating and she wants to dump him, and I'm not. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? When you identify those people and you put the letters, the key is this: you spend the time with those with the letter A and stop spending time with the people who you identify with the letter C. And if you say, well, how am I going to tell my sister that I don't want to see her anymore? Just say, how about instead of every weekend seeing each other, we will see each other every second weekend? Or somebody calls on the phone and you really need to pick up the phone. You can say, I was about to cook, or attend to my child, or whatever it is. Can I call you back at the time? Is it really important? Can we talk about this some other time? Or like, I have only 5 minutes to talk, and then you talk. Keep those boundaries. Again, check out my other videos about boundaries and how to deal with people with more in-depth tips and tricks about that. Invest in yourself. Yes, investing in yourself is the time, energy, attention. Watching this video, if you're watching that far, it's already investing in yourself. Yes. And if you will do some things from this video and you will try a few things, that is investing in yourself. And as a people pleaser, you probably have an issue with that right away, because how dare you? That's so selfish of you. Well, we already talked about that, why this happens. And here's the thing: you cannot help other people if you cannot help yourself. The same, what they say, you cannot pour out of empty pitch. Exactly. So investing in yourself is not only time and money and energy, but also understanding that taking something little small for yourself to do every day is also investing in yourself. So you see, you could be winning already in 2 points when you do something good for yourself and you show yourself that you can be there for yourself. See, it's that easy. Okay, here's another thing. You need to trust yourself to say no. That actually means no. And you need to say yes when you really mean is yes. You need to ask yourself, next time when somebody asks you to do something and you hesitate, ask yourself why you answered yes or why you answered no. Are you saying yes or no because you want to please them? Or you fear that they will abandon you? Or you think you don't want to rock the boat? It has a little bit to do with boundary setting, but it's more about being truthful to yourself. Because a lot of times when we've been told in our childhood specifically that whatever you're feeling, that's not true, and your emotions don't matter, your needs don't matter, and you've been emotionally abandoned, hopefully not physically, you kind of lost what is yes and what is no for you, because you've been told what is yes and what is no for you. The good news is that you're an adult now. I'm assuming you're not 5 years old that you're watching this video. And you can yourself now allow yourself to really ask why you're doing what you're doing. Identifying why already will give you a very good point where you can start moving towards direction where you truly trust yourself and you believe in what you stand for. And if you are very severe people pleaser, it would be very difficult for you to stand your ground and say, no, this no for me, and yes, this is yes for me. But just acknowledging and paying attention and trying out, really vocalizing your opinion and taking the ground when you really believe yes is yes or no is no. It's very important for your self-esteem. And yes, this is how you not abandon yourself. Next thing is a no-brainer, really. Nourish your body. It's like, oh, she's going to tell me I need to eat my vegetables. It's Here's a little kick here. When you eating well, this is good. You already know this. I'm not going to preach on that. But have empathy when you don't. Let's say you've been good on your diet the whole week, and then happens to be you went to your friends and she had potato chips and you just ate the whole bag. I don't know, happens to me all the time. Don't beat yourself up. Tell yourself it's okay, tomorrow's another day, and we'll move on. Or not going to the gym, or not going to walk, or whatever workout regime that you want to do. Don't beat yourself up. This is why diets don't work, because there's so many gurus try to beat you up into progress. You can love yourself into progress, into your goals, not beat yourself up. You cannot bulldoze yourself into success. That's what I say. So nourish your body, give the best, hydrate, workout, nutrition, meditation, all of that. This is great. But have empathy. In case you do not do that today, tomorrow, that's okay. There's another day to pick up, okay? Empathy. This is extremely important with the self-love and people-pleasing. And yes, because we learned already that we need to constantly criticize ourselves, and we constantly have this inner critic that, oh, you loser, you should look at this, you couldn't do this diet anyway, I already knew you're gonna fail. This is also goes to talk to yourself like a best friend. Have empathy to whatever that you do to your body, okay? Yeah. Take up space, physically, emotionally, and energetically. And what does that I mean by that is you are not too much, okay? Don't minimize yourself to please other people and make them to feel good about themselves. Okay, let's repeat what I just said. Remember that what I was telling you about other thing. If you grew up in a family where you were performing better than other people, and you've been told or scolded or even punished for doing better than your siblings, you may learn to make yourself less to be accepted. Also, if you're that kind of bubbly personality and you've been told to shut up and sit down because you're too much, you're too emotional, you too of whatever, you may now suppress all of this inside of you. So now you're an adult. Nobody's gonna punish you for that. This is time for you to heal your inner child and allow your inner child to do whatever he wants to. I know sometimes you feel like you want to jump on a table and scream. Maybe you can do this at home, right? But take up that space. Open your mouth and say your opinion in the conversation. Say yes or no. Have your preferences. I remember there was a story about Jack Canfield, and he said he was in some event and they were giving notebooks. And he had the blue book and he wanted to have a yellow. And the woman next to him was sitting and she got the yellow, and But because he decided that he will open his mouth and vocalize his preference, meaning take up the space, turned out that that lady actually wanted his book. And they just exchanged the books and they were both happy. You see how little it took just to open your mouth. So take up the space, okay? Say what you want to say. Have an opinion. How many times, especially if you're people pleaser and you try to minimize yourself to make other people feel good, you will not say what you want to say because you want to hurt somebody's feelings, or you think they're going to laugh at you or whatever. Especially in a work environment, it could be very intimidating. But it could be that it's holding you back, so it's not really working for you. So start taking up the space and start taking up emotional space and vocalize your needs and go do things that you want to do, even for 5 minutes. Even 5 minutes. And the more you will do it, you will learn to trust yourself and your abilities. So you will be more comfortable with taking up more space as time goes by. Allow yourself to evolve. That's the empathy. That's the empathy part. And don't get discouraged if, let's say, you tell yourself, like that happened to me. When I was going through my healing process and self-discovery and self-development, I told myself that being angry is a bad thing. And then I would get angry for something. And then I will get angry at myself that I got angry. And I was like, how can I do this to myself? I promised myself I will never get angry, all this. And I started laughing one time because I was like, oh my gosh, should I just get angry at myself for being angry? That's ridiculous. So, ask yourself, where is that you have empathy and allowing yourself to evolve and allowing yourself to experience things? Forgive yourself. Yeah, how about forgiving yourself? That's a true self-love. When you forgive yourself that you do no matter what. Because if you love someone, and think about someone that you love or loved, would you forgive them a lot of things? Yes, probably you would. So it's time for you to forgive yourself as well. And yes, evolving, that's also another thing that helps you to set boundaries, to do nice things for yourself. Pretty much to hold this video, if you're still listening in, you're evolving because you were not listening to this video a year ago, right? And this is an exercise that I invite you to do right now. Do not compare yourself to other people. You heard this before, right? I would add, compare yourself to yourself. If you want to know how far you went, how evolved you are, start thinking, what were you a year ago? Do you see the difference? You're a different person now. What did you accomplish? Yeah. Start writing that list. Remember that I told you at the beginning of the video of your accomplishments? And give yourself kudos. Give yourself a treat and celebrate for how much you already evolved. Because if you're watching this video, you're evolving. You want to help yourself to be in a better place so you can be there for other people, especially those that you love and you want to support, right? Exactly. Okay, next thing, what I already mentioned, forgive yourself. Have empathy. You did your best, okay? You did your best. There's not ever a person that wakes up and says, I'm going to be doing today the least possible. Even the least possible is the best that they can. We all make mistakes. And also, what is a mistake? From somebody else's point of view, it's not a mistake at all. And if we really go into philosophical, contemplations now, the whole life is just an experience. There's no good, no bad. This is we who put the label, is this good or this is bad. Especially when we have so much of politics and religion and cultural families and all that involved. So really, at the end of the day, everybody wants to be loved and appreciated, okay? And no matter where you live, no matter what religion you are, no matter what age you are, or race, or whatever it is, we all want the same thing. We all want to be happy, right? So it starts with you, with loving yourself, forgiving yourself, because you're doing the best you can. Other people also do the same thing the best they can. Even if somebody is yelled at you today, you need to ask yourself a question. I wonder what happened to them that they're behaving like this, because they don't even know you. It's not even about you. The same way as, remember, when you get upset, when something triggers you, you may be yelling at somebody, then you're feeling guilty because, well, you express yourself the way you shouldn't be expressing. Give yourself a slack, okay? It's okay. If you need to, you can apologize to somebody else that maybe you hurt their feelings or whatever, something happened. But that's okay. Forgive yourself and move on. Because if you're not making mistakes, if you're not having experience, that's not even life, okay? That is just an existence as a couch potato who constantly watches movies and playing video games and never even see another person. Because if you have other person in your life, or you have a coworker, so you're actually interacting with other people, there's always some conflict will be somewhere. Because that's the way we are. We're humans and we have our own opinions. And everybody's doing the best they can. So give yourself a slack and give everybody else a slack. And when you come with a place of empathy, life becomes a better place and not that stressful at the end of the day. Okay, what else? Practice saying, I matter. Better yet, tell yourself, I am that I am, and it's enough. I am enough. I am enough. I'm enough. I'm sure you probably heard a lot of those meditations where it says, I am enough, but you have to remind yourself this. Okay, tell yourself in the mirror that you love them and it's enough. Seriously. And if you think like, well, I'm not enough, then go and read your accomplishments list that I told you to do at the beginning of the video. And that's why it's important, because you need to celebrate yourself. I already mentioned that too. Look at all the things that you've already done, and then compare yourself to the way you were a year ago, how much you evolved, and where you're going, and how much you're working on yourself, and you watching this video, so you're investing. So of course you are doing your best, and you are enough, and you matter. You know, a lot of times we think we just go on unnoticed. Ask 3 friends, or even 1. Ask them to write you a letter. And ask them how they can describe you. And ask them, would they be sad if they lose you as a friend? You will be surprised how many people's lives will be impacted if you will be gone. Yes, we don't think about that, but we do matter. Other people need us as well. So remind yourself every day that you love the person you see in the mirror, that they matter, and you are enough. You're doing the best you can in any given moment. And you know, this is the last one. So this is what happens when I deal with my clients and they say they don't have time. Remember, I already mentioned you this. They tell me, I don't have time for this. I have a business, I have kids I need to take care of, I have aging parents or whatever. And I say, okay, as you know, the body keeps a score. All of that stress accumulates in your body and then makes us sick. So who do you think is going to take care of those kids, of those parents, of those businesses, and all of those pets you have when you'll be in the hospital? Suddenly, it will not be selfish to take care of yourself, right? Think about that. And like I said at the beginning, you don't have to do so much. You just need to do some. I gave you a lot of ways how you can love yourself. You can do one thing every single day. Leave me a comment below and tell me which one you're going to pick to do today. And if you're still struggling with this, like, I don't know where to start. I have so many ideas. I'm here to help you. I have a link in the description below for you. You can go to my website, beamazingyou.com, and book a session with me, a stress management coaching session with me. And also, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, even a smiley face that will show that you watched this video. And if you're watching this but you're not a subscriber, please do so. I mean, subscribe to the channel. As you know, yes, it helps the algorithm. So especially if you find this video useful, more people will see it. I mean, I don't need to explain to you, right? It's not like your first time watching a video.